Characterization in fiction. The characters in any kind of fiction, whether we are reading a short story, novel, play, or poem, have an important role. Authors use characters to advance the plot. In order for most characters to be convincing, there are three principles they must follow. First, they must be consistent in their behavior. For example, in Everyday Use by Alice Walker, Dee is exactly as her mother describes her before she arrives for her visit. She is arrogant and self-centered, and this is evident from the moment she arrives to the moment she leaves. Since she does not change, she is a static character. Motivation is another important principle in characterization. The motives of the characters must be clear. In Cathedral by Raymond Carver, Robert intentionally stays up late after the wife falls asleep so that he can get to know Bub better, even though Robert has taken a long train trip to get there. Finally, characters must be lifelike and believable, or it may be difficult to connect to the character. Mrs. Johnson, in Everyday Use, is a down-to-earth woman who has worked hard most of her life. Though she loves Dee, she is hurt by Dee's attitude towards her Southern heritage. At the end of the story, Mrs. Johnson thinks differently about both her daughters, so she is a dynamic character because she has a significant change in her personality during the story. The main character is referred to as the protagonist, and usually has some kind of conflict with the character considered an antagonist. Sometimes there can be more than one of these in a story. In Everyday Use, Mrs. Johnson and Dee both have major roles in the plot of the story, and they create complications for each other. So an argument can be made for each of these characters working as protagonist and antagonist. In The Storm by Kate Chopin, the story has one protagonist because the plot focuses mainly on Calixta. The other characters aren't important to the plot, but they are minor characters. The antagonist could be considered Alcee, but antagonists aren't always characters. In this case, the storm creates the conflict since it forces Alcee into her house. Later, a bolt of lightning startles Calixta so much that she falls back into Alcee's arms. The storm is so fierce that Alcee is not able to leave until the storm leaves. Characters are important to any story because they help us connect with the plot. Their actions, language, thoughts, and relationships show us the type of people they are. If we don't care about the characters, we usually don't care about what happens in a story.